Hi there, so I'm back with another video. I've been asked by a few different people to do a doll room tour or doll house tour or doll storage tour, and I've also been asked how I store some of my supplies. So I'm just going to make a big video that shows all of the stuff in my scrapbooking room that has to do with doll display, doll customization, and storage of my doll clothes and supplies and stuff. And hopefully that will answer everybody's questions, and if not, just leave me a question on this video and I will try to answer it. So I'm just sorry if this is a really shaky video. I have my video camera's in my hand, not my tripod, but I'm just shooting the main area where I keep most of my doll stuff. Then to the left of this, and this is all within my scrapbooking room, which is actually quite messy right now, the scrapbooking part of it, so I'm not going to show much of that. But then over here to the left of my closet and to the left of that stuff is my doll photography area where I display backdrops, and I have my lamps set up over there, and they just clamp onto the shelving units, and so I can move those around. Sometimes when you see me shooting videos where I talk about my dolls and you can see them all there in the background, I have brought one of those lights, that one. I just unclamp it from there and I clamp it over there so that I can light up that area a little bit better. Then the new part of my doll display area is this shelf right here. I have a blog post that shows how I made that. So this is my main doll shelf where most of my dolls live. These are all of the girls and guys of Woodside, which is my little fictional place where my dolls live. And so this is a shelf that just attaches to my wall with those brackets that you see there. The shelf is 12 inches deep by 48 inches wide, and right above it is another identical shelf, and in those bins are where I store my doll clothes. I'm going to take those down in a few minutes and show you how I have them stored. And then that navy blue bin right there has all of the furniture that I usually use in various photo shoots that take place in rooms, whether it's living rooms or bedrooms. I've got and it's almost all handmade furniture in there. I have my handmade bed and bookshelves, and the couch stays out for display, but I usually use that in a living room scene. And my little tables that are also handmade are right there, and there's another one in this box right here, which is my kitchen supplies. Yeah, so that's mostly furniture and props that go with some of my photo shoots, and I'll show you how that's stored in a few minutes. But this is where I display my dolls. All of my dolls except for my otherworldly dolls are all included here, and this doll is a visiting doll. That's my daughter's make it own pull-up that she and I made together. She did most of it. I'll just show you a little bit of a close-up because you wouldn't have ever seen her before. She was modeled on Susei before I had that doll. I now have that doll, which is my Bianca, and but she's much more colorfully drawn than Susei is. And she's just waiting here to get her hair fixed. As you can see, her hair is very frizzy and tangly, and I have taken on that project of trying to fix her hair for my daughter. She's wearing Nikki's old wig. Nikki used to wear that one a very long time ago, and she's also wearing a dress that I made by hand. It's the first pull-up doll dress that I ever made. So these are where they all live, and I don't keep too many things out on this shelf. The size of the shelf is perfect. The 12-inch depth is perfect for having some dolls standing and then kind of like two layers of dolls, so you can have dolls standing and sitting in front of them. And then I also have the couch as well as another option. I like them to have a variety of different heights to them. This doll is also sort of visiting. She's my make it own that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to keep her. That's my Giselle doll. But you'll recognize all of the other dolls here from my various videos. If you'd like to see more about any of them, I do have a video for each and every one of these dolls, except for Giselle, who's, as I said, I'm not keeping her in my collection. She just doesn't, I don't have a good character for her. I like her okay. She's a cute girl. But I just don't have a character for her. So I'm going to be adopting her out to another home. And this is my daughter's doll, who obviously I don't have a video for her either. Yeah, so this section is right above my sewing area, which is very convenient. This ends up being my staging area as well when I'm doing photo shoots. I'll lay out outfits and props and stuff right here. That is a Make It Own doll that I use as a model for when I'm making my, well, I only did one of them, but I made a homemade wig, and I plan to make some more, so I just kept that Make It Own put together so that I could use her head as a wig cap model. And I keep fabric down here for my sewing, but it's handy to have fabric nearby because sometimes I'll need to drape just like a plain piece of dark fabric or something over something when I'm doing a photo shoot over there, so it's nice to have that fabric handy. So I will show you how I store my doll clothes, but not quite yet. First I want to show you these shelves. So these squares are stackable units that you can get at Michael's. They're made by Recollections, but Jetmax is another brand that makes them as well. And so I have 1, 2, 3 units, and they're all stacked on top of one another. And then I also have, this is a CD storage case box from IKEA, from probably like 20 years ago from IKEA, and I just painted it and covered it in scrapbook supplies. And then I have a piece of foam board on top of that, and this is a little stackable thing. It's like a little staggered staircase for putting your spices on in your kitchen, and I was using it to keep just like little things also when I'm just staging and propping and that sort of thing. But I keep the 2 wigs out there that I use often. So that's Bloody Red Hood's original wig, and that's Natsume's original wig, their stock wig. So that's Jack's, and Bloody Red Hood is Suri, who's right there, because they both have a fairly elaborate flashback story, so I'll sometimes do photo shoots that are part of that, and so I need to have access to those wigs for that reason. Right here, I just keep a notebook for keeping notes on customizing or videos I want to do. These are 2 empty boxes that I sometimes just need to pull out a box. Some resin. These are just, again, propping for almost every photo shoot I do. I need to use these hands. These are Obitsu hands for pull-up and for dowel, and just little elastics to attach things to other things and string and that sort of thing. I keep an American Girl doll brush. I try to never brush my doll's hair, but if I must, I use this because it is made for doll hair. You can't use a human hairbrush, and you don't want to use a Barbie brush or a My Little Pony brush, like those little plastic brushes that come with toys either, because it will dry out and add static to your wig. And then what I usually use more of than the brush is this toothbrush. You can see I've used it on some dark wigs here, and toothbrushes are great for smoothing down flyaways. And that gloss back there, I wouldn't recommend that you use any hair products at all on doll wigs, but I do have a handmade mohair wig that I made that I do need to use some product in just to get it from being so fluffy. And so I just have this, it's by Matrix, it's Gloss Booster, and I find that it has very little residue. Like, you can put it in your hand and rub it all the way into your hand, and it almost seems to disappear, like you can't even feel it on your hand. So because it has such little residue, that's what I choose to use on my mohair wig, and that is the mohair wig that I made right there. And so sometimes it just gets too puffy, like just too puffy, and I want to see some of the individual curls, so I just put some of that on it, and I just pat the wig very gently all around and try to single out some curls with it, and it works pretty well. Then I just have another basket here that has some clips and things that I sometimes need for photos. Then I have a drawer that says customization tools and paints, and in here I just have everything that I need. I have some acrylic paints, some safety glasses, some Velcro for wigs, I have some pastels, some Teflon tape, some little bits of wigs that I might use for facial hair at some point, some gloss, some Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and some super fine grit sandpaper. My Elmer's glue, of course. I've got some extra neck pegs and one of those little screwdriver sets there. My next drawer is all about the eyes. So I have Cool Cat eye chips and some eye chips that I made and some glass cabochons in here. Kira eye chips are in here. I used them all up except for that one pair. I have, this is nail art stuff that I can use for piercings. These are Make It Own eye chips and stock eye chips that I took off of dolls. These are eye chips that I made that I'm not all that happy with. I'm going to remake them. And these are just eyeballs and tons of eyelashes that I bought by accident. Because I thought I was only buying 10, but I bought like 10 packages of 10 or something like that. So I've got like a lot of eyelashes. Way more than I need. And then this next one is wigs, and it's just all the different, it's mostly stock wigs in here, but a couple of wigs that I bought and I changed my mind about, or I don't really know what I'm going to do with. Then I have this space here, this is Rement stuff, more Rement. This is another staging or propping box. It's just like a mostly white box, so it blends in with backgrounds. And so sometimes I'll put that behind my doll to help them lean. I have a case here that has shoes. So these are all my extra shoes that the dolls aren't wearing right now. Lots of stock shoes in there, as well as some cool, like these are really cute little Cool Cats shoes. I got these really cool Obitsu cowboy boots, which I love. More these little Ugg-like boots. They're super cute. Love those. Yep. So I've got that. And then in these other ones, I have this is just an assortment of Rement that I use fairly often. And also, like, there's also some stock accessories and that sort of thing in here that I just don't want to put all the way back because I might use them again soon. So this is sort of like a holding area for Rement stuff that has another home, but it's just, I use it so often that there's no point in putting it back. And then this is mostly hair accessories, like ribbons for hair, and little elastics and bobby pins and stuff, and glasses, but also some of the props that I've used in my videos that might need to resurface. So I have like a key and an ID and this letter at 2 different stages, so a letter sealed and then the letter opened, just in case I need to go back in my storyline and revisit this. This is all Jax's music that he wrote for Surrey, and some little things. I don't know, just stuff. So that's what that is. And then that's the painting that Jax made of Surrey. And that's just, I used my computer to change a photo into a painted image, just using some software or something. I did that a very long time ago. So I hold on to those sorts of things so I don't have to make it all over again and try to make it match if it comes up in my story again. Then I have some bodies, stock bodies and Obitsu. More bodies down here. You can see their little feet sticking out. I keep sanding supplies here, so I've got a ton of super fine sandpaper, like 1,000 and 2,000 grit, and then Mr. Clean Magic Erasers. I foam for my Obitsu body and an extra body because I ran out of space. Then these things right here are good to have around. This is just my dehumidifier, because this is in the basement, so I don't want anything getting moldy or mildewy. But these clear boxes I had for something else, and you can see I had put scrapbooking paper down on them, which I'm actually going to take this off because this box is more valuable to me clear than it is lined with paper. But these things make really good things. If you need to lean your doll up against something and it's falling down, finding something clear is really helpful because it's easy to have it not show up in your photo. I don't have great Photoshop skills, so what you see in my pictures is what I took. Like I don't take anything out. The most I do is I color correct for white balance. That's the only editing that I do with my photos. So I need to be really creative because I do not know how. I tried once to take a stand out of a photo, and I wanted to, look at my cat. She's like, she's playing in my curtains. Hey, Lila. Anyhow, I'm not good at taking things out I'm not good at using Photoshop at all. Actually, I kind of hate it. So I keep clear things in different sizes and shapes. I don't know what that's doing there. Just to help prop things up against other things and that sort of thing. There's another white box. Yeah, so that's basically where I keep all of my customization stuff, and then I have a couple of make-it-own kits there that I probably won't get to this season, so they'll have to wait until next spring now. Then I'll just show you my photography area. So I have a very inexpensive, I think it's like $2, cafe curtain rod installed right there. And then I have these things for hanging curtains. She loves to be the center of attention, that cat. So anyhow, I have some fabric draped behind my photography area. I have these lamps that are clamped onto, and they're just regular lamps. They're not special photo lamps. They're clamped onto the edge, and I use 100-watt bulbs, but they're not actually 100 watts. They're the LED, they're whatever the new bulbs are equivalent, so they don't get very hot. I would never leave, this is a piece of vellum that I have taped over it just to filter. I would never ever ever leave the room with this on because I'm afraid of fire hazards, but as long as I'm standing right here, I will put these pieces of vellum over, and like I can touch it. It's not hot. It doesn't get hot, but I still I wouldn't leave it because I'm just nervous about that kind of thing. So just make sure that you're safe if you're modifying lights and stuff, because you don't want to have a fire. So I hang photo backdrops there. Usually that one goes this way and goes all the way down, but I was doing something and I didn't want this as the background, but I was too lazy to take this backdrop off. This is a doll photography backdrop, and so I just hung this dark piece of fabric over it just to, I don't know, black out the background. So this is my photography area. As I said, I keep some floors and stuff here. I keep a couple of stands, and sometimes I will open up my stands like this and have them backwards, and then my doll can just kind of like lean against it instead of having this try to go around their body. And sometimes that's all you need. And in some of my photos, you will see this because of my photography, because of my Photoshop skills, basically, my lack thereof. So yeah, but I'm usually taking so many photos that are part of a series that I don't really care. I mean, I don't know. I guess it might be a good idea to try to learn how to take them out, but I would hate that process. And I just love making stories and taking the photos. So if there's a stand left in, I don't really worry too much about it. And sometimes I'll just stick a stand like up under their dress like that and not put the wire in it at all, or maybe I will or maybe I won't, right? So there. I just keep stands and stand pieces over here on the side, along with my little, these are the little stationery that you sometimes get free at Pullip Style. Whenever you buy something at Pullip Style, always check the section that says stationery, and if there's a little 1 in brackets underneath beside it, then that means that you can get one of these little booklets for free. They don't always have them in stock, but just put one into your shopping cart when you buy a doll, and it will not a doll, and it will be the cost will be $0, but you have to buy something else with it. You can't just buy it and get them to ship it to you for free. So, oh yeah, so I was going to show you some of the other stuff that I store around here. So this is a Sterlite container, like drawer unit, and I have it. It's also doll props. So this is making doll props, and it's all various things, mostly scrapbooking things, but also repurposed other things that I might use for making doll props. I have some of this stuff that makes really cool wristbands, and some of this like leather type of stuff that might make a nice belt, resin flowers, just anything small with a small scale that I think someday might make a nice accessory or something to add to a dress I sew or whatever. Then I have, what does this say? Set props. So these are all things that, oh, sorry about the random Live Doll heads. I bought 2 Live Doll bodies and I don't know what to do with the heads. Just random props. More props, but these are more delicate props that I don't want to store with the other ones because I don't want them to get broken. And then these are more seasonal props and stuff I don't use all that often. There's Christmas stuff in there. There's a bird cage with some birds in it. Naato's couch, which I have 2 of, and a bunch of stuffies. Yeah. Then I keep some scrapbook paper beside here. This is scrapbook paper that might make a nice background or floor. So there's a lot of wood grain scrapbook paper there. And this is for taking photos. It's just like a white backdrop. I've got some more for like a white floor, if I wanted to lay a white floor. I've got some of my kitchen tiles here, leftover tiles from my kitchen. And I have 6 of these, but my daughters both stole some of them. Now I have 8 of them, I think, but my daughters took some of them for their American Girl rooms. But this is just like a tile of turf, and you can put it as your, like you could tile this whole area in this, and then it would look outdoors-ish. It's a bit of a stretch. It is very plasticky looking, but you know, when you're adjusting the exposure and that sort of thing, sometimes these details really blur out. So yeah. And these tiles are the same tiles that I use on these shelves, so that it looks more like a real floor as opposed to them sitting on a shelf. It also gives me another, what, like inch maybe of space to use, and they're not going to tip or anything when they're hanging over that small amount. And I guess the very last thing I can show you is this new spooky doll shelf where my 3 otherworldly dolls are. So this is Pullip Wilhelmina, whose name, or no, this is Pullip Midnight Velvet, whose name is Paige. This is Eve, which is short for evening, and then this is Wren, who is my doll Lila. And I just set this up very, very quickly. I just used hot glue. I hemmed around it, and I have a blog entry that tells you a little bit and has some pictures of how I put this together. This is a wicker bench that my mom gave me, and I just draped some, this is like sequin fabric. It was very expensive, but I love it. It was marked down to like almost nothing, so it was a great deal that I got, but I think normally it's like hugely expensive. But I just draped it over there every which way until all of the wicker parts were covered. And I just use a doll stand for holding up Willie's hat and broom. And I really like that I covered the roof of this, because otherwise it would have not looked so much like a, it looks kind of like a little cavern or a little den of some sort. It's very, I like the mood that it sets. I guess if you look inside of my little closet, this is a very messy thing, but this is just on the other side of my photography area is where I keep all of my backdrops. So I have some photography backdrops that are bought for doll photography, and then some are just pieces of fabric that I bought that I thought would make good backgrounds. And they just hang up here with these clips. And then I also have some other backdrop things, like these are poster board things so that I can have like 3-way black. And if you guys watched my doll photography set, you'll recognize that I have these pieces of foam board that have 2 different backs on them. One is red and one is green and yellow, and I keep that there. And then these are some flowers that I sometimes use in photography as well. The baseboard that I use for my photo sets is right there, and it has Velcro already on it, and it sticks to either the wall by itself or those backdrop poster board things that I showed you. And if you're interested in where I do my videos, this is my scrapbooking video area right here. And normally the camera that's in my hand is right there. I'm pointing down, and so that's why my videos are a different perspective than most doll videos. They're the perspective of scrapbooking videos because I have a scrapbooking YouTube channel that I've had for many, many years, and it's easiest for me to just use the setup that I already have for my dolls. And I'm a little bit camera shy. I'm not 100% camera. I have been on camera on my scrapbooking channel, but I think that you guys would rather see the doll stuff than see me. So these are, so if you're wondering what these are just 2 videos that I'm about to do. I'm about to do a doll clothing review of a couple of different stores, and I'm about to unbox this little pull-up that I got for free with my last order. So thanks for watching. When it's not really a curtain, when it's just a piece of fabric. Oh dear, that's not good. What do you think you're doing? I am probably better off to leave her there than to try to get her down because she's very stubborn.